Okay, it is recorded.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, like the first one was perfect.
Oh, sweet.
And actually the first two came from the same game,
I
which
saw.
you probably were aware of. And the game I'll actually bring in. It was a game that I played against Ray Robson. The very first time I played him in a junior tournament, many years ago, and I was playing white, and he was in like severe time trouble when we got to this position.
Mm.
He had like a minute to make his next move here, and he missed Queen B5. Queen B5 is just crushing.
Queen B3. Oh, Queen
Queen
B5.
B5.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the. I don't flip the board.
Oh, sorry. It's not synced. Now it should be synced. Now you
Okay.
see Queen B5, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I turned off sync because I realized like you might want to like go through and look at stuff, and I know I was going through too, so
Okay.
um, yeah, I have to remember to turn it back on. But yeah, you had all the right ideas. Like this is a preventive move. You stop Queen B3 check, which is a massive threat, and G5 is a threat, and just oncoming pressure with A2 and the diagonal of the bishop. I mean, White's not going to survive this if Black continues to play accurately. Um, and it seemed like most of the lines here you had were pretty accurate. I mean,
That's very good behavior.
yeah, it was just A2 and well, I didn't realize you analyzed this so extensively, but yeah, we can see like okay, Rook C1, some example lines. Yeah, this is very nice. Queen B1 is devastating. And any other move, let's see, Rook A1. Ah, you play Rook B2. Yeah, Rook B2 gets the job done. There's also Queen B2 here, which could also be powerful.
Yeah.
Hitting the D4 pawn, ideas of Rook H2 check. So really the key of this position was finding Queen B5.
Hmm.
Which kind of requires you to see the whole board. Like you have to see White's threat, you have to see the fact that you want to exploit the F file, you want to clear the G5 square. Um, so this is very good that you. How long, out of curiosity, how long did it take you to find Queen B5?
Less than like 5 minutes, I think.
Okay,
I spent maybe 10 minutes total on this, and
gotcha.
maybe I waited a day and I came back and I spent a little bit more time just to make sure. So a good amount of time. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I'm glad I got the right answer.
Yeah, it would be an interesting exercise. I have to maybe keep this in mind for next time to put a time limit, like just to give you like
Ah,
2 minutes and see if you can come up with Queen B5 because it's not maybe not a move that will come to mind right away,
hmm,
but once you fully absorb what's going on in the position, it should make a lot of sense.
sure. Okay, I didn't know like if the activity was like just to find the right answer, like take an hour or.
So yeah, I mean,
Or
I
5.
really didn't specify, but you made like a good assumption, like to basically just focus on quality rather than speed.
Mhm.
And that's usually what I care more about too. Is you're thorough and that you can investigate all the critical lines and come to the right conclusion.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like doing the process of like really investigating thoroughly will help you with speed.
Mm,
Like over time, the more times you can really dig deep and get the truth of the position, even if it takes like an hour of analysis, that will ultimately lead to like better intuition
mm,
and better like underlying understanding.
got it.
So, so yeah, it's good to see like a lot of these you're digging very deep. Um, Now this one you actually, it was actually a surprise. You found Queen B5, but you overlooked a very key move here for White. And I know like I didn't specify that it's, just a very direct tactic. But this
Oh,
position White has, now you actually went for this tactic, this double attack.
sure.
And you said Rook B2. Black also has Rook C7. And this leads to some advantage for White. But there's a much stronger move if you find it like White's immediately winning. So I'll give you like a minute here. This is just pure tactics. Just find so you have a fresh perspective.
Really? You sack something?
I think you were focused on the bishop and the rook as being targets which are clearly undefended. But there's other targets, like these pieces, everything in black's position is undefended. So,
Something like
uh,
this.
yes, 96.
Wow, that's so obvious.
96 is just crushing.
I think I was very fixated on the undefended bishop and rook on the queen side.
Yeah, yeah, I could kind of tell that. Because they look like such easy targets to attack with queen b3. And queen b3, I mean, it's a decent move, but if you have time, if this is sort of like a tournament game and you have time and you see queen b3, you want to continue looking at your options. I remember when I got to this position, after king h7, I immediately saw 96. Like it's a fork. Like, okay, you're threatening to take both the rook and the queen with check.
Yeah.
And white's just winning material.
And the game ended in a draw though. It's hard.
Yeah, which was devastating. I actually want to like show this because I know maybe somehow it relates to one of your recent games where like you had this winning advantage and then wasn't able to convert.
Oh yeah.
And there were psychological factors that like played a role. Like in this position, one of my biggest mistakes was thinking that black is just about to resign. I thought he could potentially resign in this move. So my brain kind of just stopped doing work. Sorry, I have to get the doorbell. But I want you to analyze further from here and try and figure out the best path forward for both sides.
Okay.
I'm going to check the door real quick.
Sure. Huh. Queen here. Queen d2. Threatening mate. Queen f2.
See some arrows.
Yeah. My first instinct was just queen d2. Second move might just be to take. No, I just lose material. Maybe even no. I gotta move the queen.
Yeah, queen d2 offers black the best practical chances.
Yeah.
Anything else is just dead for black.
Yeah.
So queen d2. Let's play it out from here. So I'll play black and you play white. Sorry, mic just dropped. Try and find or don't try and find anything, but just play for white and
okay.
try and play the best continuation.
I think I'll take with check.
Okay, play king h6.
Wouldn't a queen trade just be good for white? No. What? Maybe. Yeah, I feel like it would.
I just want you to make your own conclusions. We'll continue playing it out. And let me go for a2.
Oh, I forgot about this pawn.
Oh, this pawn is counterplay, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about. I was like, wait a minute, the game's over. I think.
Now, it should still be winning, but already, like, you've missed an opportunity. You've missed an opportunity to shut the game down right away. And I will tell you, this is exactly what happened. Like, we actually went into this line.
Oh, really?
I
actually
go
just
ahead.
A2. I'm so, I just didn't even consider that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you forget. I mean, white's still up a full rook here.
Yeah.
So, like, it should still be winning. And, like, during the game, I thought that I was, even though the a-pawn exists, I thought, okay, it should be easy win.
Yeah.
Let me paste in the game. Just have, like, a clean chapter to work with. So this is a full game.
Sure.
And I found knight e6. He plays queen d2. I take on f8.
Yeah.
And it was actually this position. I didn't consider all of my options.
Okay.
Clearly, I saw mate, and clearly white's options are limited. But it's really important that white considers all of the candidate moves. So queen f4, clearly one candidate move, should be winning, but what else can one consider here?
Um,
What else can white consider? Queen f4 and queen e3 are both probably the most logical moves.
yeah, I mean, you can't move the rooks because of checkmate.
Mm-hmm. So what's the only other, trying to to give you some clue without giving it away. Um,
So
there's a third candidate move for white, apart from the queen moves.
you can't move the queen. You can't move the rooks. Is that right? No?
So there is a rook move here.
There's a rook.
And it turns out to be the strongest move.
You sack the rook back?
But why?
Wait.
How
Oh,
could sacking the rook back work?
yeah. I don't see a. Oh. Is that it?
There's immediate counterplay. Like black's king is also getting mated, which is easy to forget about when your king is threatening to get mated too.
Wow, that's hard to see.
Yeah, it takes a shift in mindset because like when you're up material, you're looking for simplification, not for ways to immediately end the game.
Checkmate, yeah.
And like if I play rook e2 here, it's over. Queen take e2, it's force mate. If g5, queen f6 mate. If king here, then this is maiden next move. So
Wow.
I discovered this after the game. This was like an event in St. Louis. This was back in 2010, and the commentator was Hikaru Nakamura, doing commentary for the juniors. It was broadcast online, and Nakamura pointed this out. Wait a minute.
Wait. Where's the mate? I got.
Oh yeah, white's a move maiden one.
Oh, okay.
Actually, queen h7 is an interesting line because I don't know if that's actually meaning. Oh, this is still maiden one.
You have an escape square.
But this is an interesting line. Like this could already be losing for white.
Yeah, so I wanted to see the mate. I didn't see it immediately. That's funny. So Nakamura was commentating, and he clearly saw this, and
well, he didn't see it right away, but like it took him maybe 30 seconds to realize, oh, rook e2 is just winning.
Oh yeah.
And that's sometimes what happens when you're clearly winning. You sometimes get lazy.
Mm.
And if like, let's say black had for some reason, like another rook somewhere randomly, like a8, then you would maybe strive to find a move like rook e2.
Mm.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and show you how I did not win this position. Sure. It was quite sad. The problem arose that after the pawn lands on a2, like I thought my rook would always be defending. But the problem is that, okay, first of all, e4 is a weakness. There's many cases where if I play a move like even rook f1 here, there's ideas with queening and then bishop take e4.
There's a windmill.
And there's it's probably just perpetual.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but it is some sort of windmill. Like black could maybe start taking pawns, and then it gets really annoying. But yeah, it's not something I want to allow. So e4 is kind of a weakness, and also black has the idea of playing bishop to a6, controlling f1, and then going for ideas like rook b2, rook b1, or bishop d3, bishop b1, and even maybe creating some winning chances.
Yeah.
So I played what I thought was the most logical move.
Mm-hmm.
He plays rook b2, and I realized, wow, it's not so easy. I went for rook f6. Going for counterplay, I'm threatening mate in 1. He plays king g7. And then I move back to f1. And I think already at this point it's just a draw. I've spoiled the opportunity to win. It's bishop a6. Now this plan is very clear.
Yeah.
And I was actually the one who bailed out. I went for this. I went for counterplay against his king, going for some mating ideas.
Yeah.
And then we just ended the game in repetition.
Oh no!
I could not allow rook b1 to come. So.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad, but
Would this be better?
yeah, Rook EF1. There might still be, I think,
No, no, this
probably
one.
Rook B1.
Yeah.
And like I have one check, but then King G8.
Oh
I think
man.
the stronger move. There was some idea like to play Rook F7, threatening mate, and then
Well, it's not made yet, right?
oh yeah, sorry, it's not mate yet. Wait, what was the idea? Rook F7.
Maybe here.
Um, and let's say Rook B1. Ah, okay, now I remember. It was some crazy idea. White to move and win from this position. This is a great exercise. It's like pure kind of, I won't say pure tactics, but like kind of just a concrete variation to capitalize. Pawn H4, Rook take E1 check.
Oh, fucking.
Yeah.
Uh, so you check. King goes to G5. Knight goes to E6.
And King will escape to F6.
6.
And Black is probably winning in that line.
You can't take the bishop because of check. I don't know, this is a big threat. I feel like maybe just retreating.
Yeah, retreating is
I
probably a
don't
normal
see
option, but then you allow queening.
I don't see the win-win.
Okay, I think I'll go ahead and show it to you because it's one of these moves. I feel like even when you consider it, it still takes some time to like fully grasp. But it's a brilliant move. Rook EF1.
To block the escape square of F2.
To control the F file. So now white is threatening mate in 2 with Rook H7 96.
Yeah. Dang.
So black has no time to queen. Meanwhile, the rooks are now connected, so if the rooks get traded, white's in time to defend.
Got it. That's
So,
nice. I thought I would have got that after 2 more minutes.
Right. And this is a type of thing that I would have had to see in this position. I would have had to see Rook F7, Rook B1, Rook EF1. So, not the easiest thing to see ahead of time, but it was a last chance to win the game.
Yeah. And that's what's scary because like the A pawn is so close to queening that if this doesn't work, then you lose.
I could lose, yeah, which would be terribly embarrassing given that I'm up a full rook for a pawn and I end up losing. But this is a nature, like this game taught me like several very important lessons with respect to like strong players fighting on from seemingly hopeless positions. Like, after 96, like in hindsight, it was clear, okay, it was clear that black had chances to fight on, but in the heat of the game, I thought I was just winning. It was a matter of, for me, it was a matter of staying focused and being able to find moves like this rook E2 shot or even this rook EF1 shot.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it didn't quite work out for me.
Oh man.
I mean, the draw was still a decent result, but always more.
2,500 player, of course.
Yeah, it was a tournament where I had qualified based on winning like this open event. So I was the lowest rated player by far. I was 2,200 and okay, Ray was around 2560 at the time. So it was close to a huge upset. But okay, many lessons to take away. So
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, if we I think that kind of extensively covered this these two positions and covered the nature of finish this game. So perhaps we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, sure.
This next one is tricky too, because again, it's a position where black is on the verge of winning, and the line that you had said is you put in bishop b4, which looks incredible. given that after rook take a6, it looks like black is winning here. This is a very similar theme of like a seemingly winning position where it's not quite winning because there's resources for the opponent. So white to move in this position, white has a very powerful resource.
I don't know.
Look for counterplay. So you might be fixated on stopping the pawn. Knight e8 is counterplay. What else is counterplay?
Here, maybe rook a8.
Rook a8, yeah.
Really? Is that dangerous?
Well, we can calculate.
Okay.
D2.
Rook g8.
Mm-hmm. And now this, I think, would be a mistake, because then the king can actually escape. White will run out of checks after like h4, f4. The king will hide on f5. So, yeah, it's important to first prevent the king from escaping. And now there's the threat of perpetual check.
Yeah. Got it. I gotta calculate. I just saw this pawn got a queen. I'm like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, so sometimes, like when you're playing the black side, you won't be as motivated to try as hard as possible to find resources for the opponent. This is an interesting psychological thing that I've realized, is like sometimes if you get to a position like this, and let's say your opponent's thinking really hard, they'll be more inclined to find like their last chance to save the game with rook a8, rook g8.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to try as hard as possible to find your opponent's resources so you don't go into a bad line like this.
Mm.
One more thing to point out about that variation is after f4, there is, okay, first of all, g5 doesn't work because it's mate. But there is a trick for black to play rook g1 check.
And then queen.
And then queen with check, but I'm pretty sure white can just hide on h3. And then there should be nothing for black in this position.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
So, yeah, like don't take the rook. Maybe it even works to take the rook and queen, and then not sure if black has any resource, but I think king h3 is just simpler.
Yeah, that's probably simpler. The queen can probably come here and check.
Though there'd be knight g4, so
okay, well,
I'm entirely sure.
Okay, wow.
But yeah, so going back, you had the right idea. Just kind of the wrong execution. It's very clear that you want to make use of your d pawn. However, bishop b4 is actually kind of a waste of time.
You just go right ahead?
So just d3 right ahead. Now the difference is that, okay, rook takes c5, you're happy to play d2. And then you queen with basically one extra tempo. So if rook c8 here, black can queen. And this line is just slow for white.
Got it. Wow.
H4, then black will have mate in 1 after h4 with queen h1.
Yeah. If knight e4 after d3?
Oh, knight e4 in this position.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stop that pawn.
Of course. So knight e4, I'm pretty sure it was played in the game. I have to pull this game up. Bishop e4 can be played. This is another one of my games, actually, from the same tournament that I played Ray Rosen. Yeah. And after bishop e4, it's a nice idea to attack the rook and again threaten d2. Mm-hmm. And when the rook goes... let me just bring in the game first, and then that'll be easier just to show you the full thing.
Yeah, the rook goes behind the pawn, and
so essentially d2, rook d5, and then black can actually play a5.
So after rook d5 now.
Yeah, let me just show you what happened.
Sure.
And just to demonstrate, like the sequence of moves was nice in this game, because when the rook came to a5, I didn't move my bishop for literally like 6 or 7 moves. I just kept counterattacking and making counter threats. Oh, first I played d3, but it's the same thing. Um, so rook b1 first is actually going to transpose,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
because d3 first, knight e4, and then it'll be the same thing essentially. Um, so knight e4. So essentially we got to this position, and bishop e4 is played, rook d5, and then d2, and the pawn can't be taken because of rook to d1. Except he
Oh,
did take the pawn. Uh,
oh. I was like, you're gonna lose that pawn. I was trying to think of like the A pawn's gonna be the winner, but you can't take it. It's poison.
yeah, actually, like taking it's the only move here because I'm threatening to queen.
Yeah.
But when he does take it, I keep the advantage because I have rook d1, and after rook d4, then the a pawn is the one that becomes a winner with a5,
Mm.
and he's forced to okay, now I'm threatening to just capture on d2. Um, now I didn't capture with the bishop on d2 immediately because it walks into king f3, king e2. That
Yeah.
could be harder to win. So a5 was a very accurate move. And then after the knights, or after the rooks get traded, the knight is just so much inferior to the bishop, especially with an outside pass pawn.
Yeah.
Very common endgame scenario where knights do not like to defend against outside pass pawns. In this case, I easily pick up this this pawn on e5. If he plays knight f3 or knight c6, the knight is completely restricted by the bishop. And I would just queen the a pawn. So he had to take defensive measures. And I go up a pawn, and this is an easily winning position. Now, I am actually curious. Maybe we could do the same exercise as last time if you want to work on some endgame tests. Is
Yeah.
to play out this position, like 3-2.
I'm game for that. When
Let's
you
do
say
that.
it's easy, I'm like, okay, it seems easy, but I don't know.
No,
You know,
as I was saying that, I was realizing, oh, maybe I could try and survive. So,
like whenever I see St. Louis lectures and they're like, oh yeah, this is technically winning, and then I'm like, I don't know. It's like you up 2 pawns, but
yeah, sometimes just have to clarify.
but
Okay.
I have a sparring buddy that we practice like these kind of end games now with. So
Oh, that's awesome.
that
Yeah,
more.
that's actually very useful. Like, I feel like, especially when it comes to endgames, this is one of the best ways to learn is to play out positions.
Okay. See, you're gonna just block on A2, I think.
That's true, I guess. But okay, keep in mind, I mean, I guess last time I told you like the winning plan. This time I'm not telling you
Yeah.
anything. But I think that's good because you know you're better. You know you should be winning. So we'll see how this goes. Well done.
Oh man.
Very nice.
It sounds like that outside pass pawn is a decoy, and you
It can
just
be used, yeah, there's a few different ways to use it to win. One way, like what you kind of ended up doing is using it as a decoy.
yeah.
Um,
Other ways just to march your king up to the a2, and then
yeah, there is a moment on move 11 when you played bishop e5. This is actually the moment you can choose multiple ways to win.
oh, I see.
If you go back to yeah, when you played bishop e5.
Mm.
Instead of bishop e5, you could play king c4, and there's no way to stop king b3, and then you just win the knight. Knight's completely trapped.
Yeah, yeah. I went that. There's many ways to win. Just what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, but
so
still,
like,
I was just like, don't blunder my net.
of course, yeah, no, you have to be careful. Even like when I'm trying to survive queen, knight versus queen and pawn, like you still have to be careful not to get forked. I was trying as hard as possible, but hopefully this gives you confidence. Like if you get to a position like this and you can beat me against, or play it and beat me, then you can hopefully beat anyone. You just have to stay focused.
Yeah.
And I guess don't assume that because you can beat me, you can beat a much lower rate player. Like if you just stay focused and be careful, then that's the best approach to win.
Sure. Okay,
Um,
that was good.
yeah, nice job. I have to go back to the study. I
Me
think
too.
I lost it.
Well, yeah. When we play the game, it takes it over.
Hmm.
Um,
The late middle game exercises. I can send you a link if you need it.
I'm in.
Okay. Yeah. My opponent lost in a very similar fashion. Like I just walked the king up. Um, it got to a position like this, so it actually kind of simplified and things got locked down on the king side. But then he just resigned after h4 because he got into zugzwang. Like white's just in zugzwang here, given that if the king moves to c2, um, I'll come to c4, and then he has to allow king b3 next, and it's just over.
Yeah.
Or I'll just run and take h3 if the opportunity is available.
Mm.
So, we can move on.
Okay. 3 down.
Next one. Oh, this was the next one. Okay, so moving on to this one. This one. Yeah, this one was one of the more difficult ones.
This one I didn't get. I think.
You tried a bunch of different moves. So you tried like many different moves. One of them is a correct move, but if you play this move, it's necessary to follow up correctly.
Hmm.
It's a very forcing move, pawn b5.
D5.
And this relies on a tactic which, okay, I was playing the black side in this game, and I'll admit, even after my opponent played b5 and I played my next move, I did not see what was coming. So after c take b5, oh, you had this line, oh, where black ends up being better because white just lost a pawn. So when I played this game, I should note this was against Sam Shankland, which is labeled. I was expecting rook c7 here,
Oh, okay.
which I thought I could survive against. Like I thought, okay, white gets some activity, but should be okay. Well, I completely missed. Well, white pretty much just wins on the spot.
What?
Um,
Oh man.
I'll give you a chance to try and find it. I'll give you a minute or two. It's necessary to look for forcing moves. Like now that the c file is open,
Yeah.
look for like a forcing continuation. And turns out white just plays like the most forcing sequence to win material.
Do you deflect the queen? No, the pawn can take.
But keep calculating. Don't reject something too early.
The pawn can take. Queen check. Oh. Wait. I guess you take the knight, but we traded knights.
It's a trade. I mean, okay, that position, if you take the knight, it's probably very good for white, given black's king is quite
Yeah,
exposed. There's actually a move.
is a better line.
I want you to calculate knight f5, g take f5, queen g5, king h7.
Yeah.
White to move and threaten force mate. Very key move. It's not a queen move.
Oh, king g2.
King g2, yeah, just
What?
h1.
That's not even in my
So yeah, I mean, king
consideration.
g1, it's like one of these quiet moves, but it should be very obvious given the h file is open. The black king is on the h file. Something you want to prepare in the position. So yeah, this would have been, or this is exactly what happened. Knight f5.
You go ahead and play it out.
Yeah, so knight f5. G take f5. Queen g5. King h7, king g2. We didn't go into this exact line, but this is just, I mean, there's no way for black to defend mate here.
Wow.
And if what I'd played in the game was queen take f5, I was trying to fight, but this walks into just a losing endgame. Like white just is up the exchange.
Oh,
I resigned very soon after this.
hmm. But you saw that king g2 after he played knight.
So when he played knight f5, I saw king g2 coming, yeah. And I realized if I take with a pawn, this is just, there's no fight here. It's clear he's going to see king g2, and if I play king f8, I lose everything. So what's interesting about this tactical sequence is I allowed it with this move queen d7. Queen d7 was a major blunder because of b5 and knight f5. And what's really interesting was, like, during the game, Sam had seen all of this ahead of time from this position because he was interviewed like afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And during the game, he said he was quite scared of queen e6. And he said queen e6 should be a draw. And there's a really interesting, like, small detail that makes queen e6 a draw if white goes into the same line. Actually, maybe not a draw, but it would be completely fine for black if white goes for the same idea to play b5. Let's say black takes on b5 and then white goes for knight f5. The main difference in this position is that I can now take, and I allow white to go into this, and if king g2, this isn't working because of queen e4 check.
Oh.
So it was necessary that instead of putting my queen on d7, I should have put the queen on e6. And this would have held things together for me.
Dang. King g2 is so hard to see. That's not even a threat.
So yeah, like in order for me to realize queen e6 was the right move, I would have had to see this whole line and realize that in this position, after white plays king g2, I can stop the mate with queen e4 and at the same time double attack the king and the rook.
Wow.
I think Sam said that, like, after the game, that if I played queen e6, he was going to repeat the position with knight f3. And I would have probably been happy with a draw to repeat as well. But then there's an interesting backstory to this tournament. I won't get into all the details, but essentially Sam, I'm sure you're familiar with Shanklin. I mean, he's currently the U.S. champion.
Oh, really? Oh, good. I know he's like top 3 in the world or something, but...
Well, he's number 4 in the U.S.
Oh, I see.
But back in April, he won the U.S. championship ahead of Nakamura, Caruana, and So, who are all top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
So it was amazing, like, performance for him. I played this game against him in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this tournament that I played him, he said he was quitting chess. Like, he said that this was going to be the last tournament he would play because he was so frustrated. Like, he was still an IM, and he was trying to get the GM title, but like he kept having bad results. And he ended up winning this tournament, and then he couldn't quit chess because it qualified him for the U.S. championships for the following year. as well as the World Junior, so he had to keep playing, and then he just took off from there. So it was
You
crazy.
have
Like he
to
was on the verge of quitting, and like if I had like drawn this game, he could have easily not won the tournament, and then would have
play.
changed fate forever. But
That's funny. You could have made history by not letting him make history.
that's yeah. I mean, so many different things could have happened, but yeah, I like this exercise because it was really like it's difficult, but it really makes you try and consider like the potential resources and realizing that knight f5 is a resource when the c file opens up. Not easy to see, but if you can see it, it can allow you to take down. And,
Sure. I'm curious of like, I mean, I guess the top level is like, why would you just repeat and just have a draw? Like, is there any other way that white can like,
oh, like in this position after queen e6.
yeah, queen e6, yeah, like, it's a game, like,
That's true. The thing is that the knight's a bit misplaced on h4.
yeah.
And like what else does white do? Like it's actually a weird position where both sides are pretty restricted.
Hmm.
It's not clear what white should be doing here. So knight f3 is probably the best move, and black is also restricted. So
Queen h3,
I think the computer actually would support this.
the draw?
Is yeah, just saying neither side has anything better. Like if anything, maybe black could play for a win with a move like rook h5 here. I don't know if I would be gutsy enough to play this, given that I'm playing a much stronger player. But yeah, maybe this would have been possible to go for some triple up on the h file, or maybe even go for rook f5.
Yeah.
So if anything, black should be better here. Black should be playing for a win.
Oh, interesting. I evaluated white was slightly better.
Yeah, you would think that like the pressure on the c file is substantial. And it turned out to be that way, given I slipped up with queen g7. But if I hold things together and don't allow these tactics, then the h file pressure could be pretty enormous as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, should we move on? Oh, I have to plug in my laptop before it dies.
Sure. Last two?
And yeah, let me know if there's also anything else you would like to go over today, apart like outside of these problems.
Sure.
I know we're sometimes going on tangents, but if there's anything specific, just let me know.
Sure. We'll finish these two. I think they'll be good.
Yeah.
And if I have a question, I'll ask you for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, this one I think did very fine. And you dug much, much deeper than I was expecting.
Okay.
Really, the point was to find knight d4. Like, to find this idea of restricting the king and preparing rook f8 and optimizing the knight.
Mm-hmm.
And it is true, like, g5, the lines can get a bit messy. And white would want to probably continue here accurately. Like, I see you have knight f5 or rook f8. Rook f8 is probably a bit better. And then there would be a few different ways of continuing here. I think one move which maybe you overlooked, which could potentially be quite strong, is bishop to e7.
Oh.
The idea of targeting the f6 pawn.
Yeah.
And it's not so easy for black to defend, given that rook a6 just met with rook takes c8.
Mm-hmm.
So a big component of this problem is like coordinating the bishop, the knight, and the rook to put maximum pressure against the king side.
Mm.
What I would like to do is just show you what happened in the game.
Sure.
Just show like how I actually created a mating attack starting with knight d4. And it took maybe a mistake or two on my part. I was playing black here and I played pawn a4, which I thought was the most natural move. But it turned out that my king just had little escape after white's play, starting with rook f8. And then my king went on for a walk, knight e6 check. It's actually a really nice example of how to create a mating attack without queens on the board.
Mm.
And it turned into a situation where like white is racing to mate the king before I can promote the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of both sides having winning chances. Maybe there could be some draw potential with perpetual. But it turns out that white is much faster in mating, and my opponent executed incredibly well. Pawn g4. Now I should point out, let's imagine pawn a3 is played. White to move in this position, what is white's idea? Like, okay, black wants to queen in 2 moves, so what can white do to win?
You want the bishop to go here.
Exactly.
So I guess you can move the rook anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Probably, like, you want to be aware of g5 might be an escape idea for black.
Sure. So rook
Rook
g8.
g8. Yeah, rook g8's just crushing. Rook g8, I don't know, maybe bishop b7. White to move here. I think the next move is actually, it's simple, but it's really important to play.
It's simple, but okay.
Like, if you don't play it, like, you could give black a chance to come back. But if you play it, it's just an easy win.
What, you take the rook?
Yeah, just take the rook.
Okay.
Bishop f8 is still mating.
Yeah.
Like, you might be inclined to play bishop f8 here, but that walks into rook take f8, and then black is queening.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, even like when you're on the verge of winning, you gotta stay focused.
Yeah, I wonder also, I look at this like a few minutes before the call, if in this position, when he plays g4,
Mm-hmm.
and then bishop b7, what if he plays that now?
Oh, it's probably just the same thing, like probably just rook take a8, right?
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, that's obvious. Okay.
So nothing much changed.
Got it.
Actually, just a transposition. So that's why I played f5. I had to somehow try and fight.
Mm-hmm.
But he still goes for this bishop f8 mating idea. And now the problem is actually rook h8 is a very strong move. My idea was to take on g4, but that walks into bishop f8, king h5, and rook take h7 mates. So it's just, things are swarming from all directions. I went for g5 here, only thing I saw. And then rook goes back to g8. It's an incredible sequence. Now bishop f8's the main threat. I take on g4, and then it was pretty direct. King h5, rook take g5. Gives me some PTSD, given that it was so painful at the time. Now there's multiple mate threats with discovery, and then coming back to h5 with mate.
Yeah.
So I play rook a7, and then he just plays knight f4, another mating idea. And this is just over. Rook h5 is unstoppable.
Sure. Dang.
So it all kind of started with knight d4, and this type of thing, I mean, this will happen from time to time. Like, queens are off the board, but the king can still be a target, even in the endgame stages.
Yeah. So. It's a very beautiful coordination of all these 3 pieces.
Yeah. And it took some tactical skill to be able to continually make threats while optimizing the pieces. And white played very accurately. Starting with knight d4, but then every move was a threat, either checking the king or having some mating idea, or with the case of g4, just restricting the king. And yeah, white was just much faster. I only got the pawn. I don't think I ever got the pawn to a3 even. So white had even so much extra time to do something if it was necessary.
Sure. Man. I think if I was white, I would panic and just try to stop the a pawn and get a rook in front of it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, which is one of these things which sometimes you have to shift perspective. Some players, this is a common tendency among players. Some players will have the tendency to just defend at all costs. Mm-hmm. And some players will have the tendency to counterattack no matter what.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to adjust depending on the situation. Every situation is different. Sometimes it is the right decision to defend. In this case, it was by far the right decision to go for counterplay.
Makes sense.
So I think that was the last problem, actually. I added one more, which I thought, this came from a student's game,
Sure.
which, like, when I saw the moment in the student's game, this kind of instantly reminded me that this could be a very good fit for the study, where, like, one side is clearly better, but it's a matter of basically converting the advantage.
Sure.
And my student, I've removed the names just for privacy, but my student was playing black in this game.
Sure.
Got a terrible position. Her opponent was able to get a winning position, but wasn't able to find the conversion. And then my student went on to win the game.
And so I'm playing against her to find the winning conversion.
So you're playing from white's perspective.
Got it.
And this is a key position. Or it just looks amazing for white.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because this is where the white player just started to go wrong. Like within 3 or 4 moves, black was amazingly better.
Really?
Which seems crazy, but yes, it is important to note black is up a pawn here. And black does have a passed A pawn, supported by the rook. The bishop could be dangerous too, so like with that perspective alone, you can maybe start being a bit more careful as white and start looking for just perhaps forcing opportunities.
Is it as simple as this?
So let's calculate. Queen F2 and King G8 is the only reasonable move. And then you say Rook F3.
Yeah.
And black has basically one move there, Queen E8.
Queen E8. Okay, so it doesn't win on the spot. Okay.
Now it could be the best line.
Yeah.
But the question is like, how would you follow up from there? And I think I'll end the suffering and say this is the best line. But it's still a matter of how to follow up.
Sure.
I will also say the opponent played Rook at C1, which is the first major mistake because it lost time. Like his plan was to play Rook F1 and Queen F3.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But I mean, Queen F2 and Rook F3 is so much more efficient because you get tempo on the king and you get the rook over to the F file in 1 move rather than 2 moves.
Sure.
And time is incredibly important in a position like this where black is underdeveloped.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think how to continue after Queen E8. So.
Sure.
King G8.
And this is something that, like, if you saw in a game, you might just go for this and then start thinking in this position, given that, okay, this was very logical. Everything came with tempo. But, okay, it's still a question. What do you do next?
I'm not sure.
If you're not sure, then sometimes you want to take a step back, and rather than looking for specific moves, you just want to start asking yourself questions. Like, what are the potential targets? What can be improved? Which piece isn't doing so much that potentially could be improved?
This bishop is not doing that much.
The bishop's doing nothing, that's true.
I mean, the H7 pawn could be a target.
Sure, some idea like what, Rook H3, Queen H4.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a resource.
I don't know. I mean, the rook and the queen are coordinating well, so
it's true. What's another target? Like another, like piece or pawn or square that you could potentially exploit?
G7? No. Can you?
Dark square, but it's hard to actually attack. Look for a square that you can potentially exploit.
Square. I wanted to exploit F7.
So that's covered and can't be attacked more than twice.
E7?
E7, it's a dark square.
Okay, I'm not giving the right answer, huh?
F8. F8 is like a very key square,
Ah,
which you're already
yeah.
attacking twice or controlling twice with your battery. If
Oh,
somehow, like a dream situation, your bishop can control F8, and this is very hard to see at first,
wow.
but bishop C1 is an amazing move, like a
Wow.
backward move, but highly aggressive.
But what happens after bishop d7? Doesn't that defend that square
So
in the middle?
bishop D7, bishop A3,
Yeah.
and white's winning the queen.
Oh, the queen. Oh, I see.
So white will win the queen for rook and bishop,
Got
which
it.
should be a decisive material advantage.
Got it. Wow. Just
Um,
give what was that thinking you said? Reciprocal base thinking?
Reciprocal thinking, yeah.
Thinking.
Which does apply here.
Well, you want your rook to go there. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't. But more like,
Reciprocal thinking is when your opponent has a defensive resource, and you
yeah.
kill the resource and then go for your plan.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I haven't got that far in the book yet.
I
But
gotcha. Yeah, it's
once.
I would say this falls into more imagination, where you have to like be a bit more imaginative with your bishop, thinking that your bishop, instead of controlling this diagonal, you want it to control this diagonal.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that Black just has so few resources to defend against this.
Mm. That's a cool maneuver.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it doesn't come naturally, but sometimes if you start thinking, just like make a habit of taking a step back and thinking, where are the pieces best? Like it should be very clear the bishop should be improved. It should
Sure.
also be clear that this is a great diagonal for a bishop.
Mm.
And sometimes another way to approach this is just to look for different resources. You started by looking for this sort of resource. There's potential for maybe a pawn storm as a resource to open up more lines. And like when you start looking for as creative resources as possible, you might stumble upon the strongest one, which is bishop c1 to a3.
Yeah. Mm.
d5 could be included in that group. So sometimes if you keep, this is called progressive thinking, where you keep cycling through ideas until you at some point arrive at the strongest idea.
Sure. Yeah, it makes total sense. Wow, this is beautiful.
So yeah, I was happy that that white didn't play in the game. Just happy for my students that is a valuable lesson learned and went on to win the game. So eventually what happened, like somehow queens got traded and it was an opposite-color bishop ending where like black's king just activated, like eventually came to the queen side and helped the a-pawn promote.
Wow.
So it was a pretty cool finish.
When you analyzed her game, did you see this maneuver for white? Or did you turn on the stockfish and then the stockfish was like, oh yeah.
So I first I looked without the engine.
Yeah.
And I saw that in this position, I knew white should be better. And I saw queen f2, rook f3. I did not find bishop c1 myself.
Yeah.
So it was a stockfish move. But then I like, once I look at the stockfish and see, okay, bishop c1, I try and think back and realize how it's possible for a human to arrive at this move.
I see.
Which is quite, like, it's quite possible. And it's one of those things, like, if you ask yourself some leading questions, it can become easier, but sometimes you have to ask yourself the right questions.
Oh yeah, this would be more. I would be so much more happy to see this in a game than like a queen sacrifice to win, checkmate.
Yeah, like a quiet move, right?
Yeah, this would be so deadly.
Mm-hmm. There's a book. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Invisible Moves.
No, I haven't. Invisible moves.
And you might enjoy it, given that it has tons of examples. It actually has a whole chapter, I believe, on this type of move. It's what we call a backwards attacking move.
Discover your blind spots.
Yeah, it's basically, it focuses on moves which are like very easily overlooked, even among top players.
Sure.
And it has like a lot of simple examples of like grandmasters committing very elementary blunders, like hanging their queen in one move and talking a lot about psychology. So that might be like, I know I sent you Imagination in Chess, right?
You did, yeah.
That's more like puzzle book and thought process. I just found the file to this PDF I'll go ahead and send you this too,
Oh,
in case you want to take a
fantastic.
look.
Thank you. Yeah, I've only got through 10 problems in imagination and chess, and each one is like,
Hmm. That's actually quite impressive because each problem can take a lot of time.
oh yeah, it takes so much time. I probably got like a 50% right, so
Uh-huh.
thank you for that. Awesome.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, this book, it's more like you can kind of work through it at your own pace. You can kind of skip around, check out each chapter.
Yeah.
There's exercises, but you can also just kind of set up and work through positions and read that explanations.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah, you're
it.
welcome. Sure thing.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed. This has been, man, I learned something new every time, or like multiple things new. So very,
Yeah,
very,
no, this is fun for me too. Like I learn a lot of things by just like showing showing you this material because you're at a level where like a lot of my students are like beginners. I don't learn as much, but like you're at a level where when I work with you, I'm still learning stuff and
sure.
still can look at some interesting resources.
Yeah. Are you
So
it's mostly like 1,000 rated or like less?
there's a wide range. Recently, I've been getting like a lot of like pure beginners who watch like YouTube videos and
Sure.
they're just starting out chess.
Mm,
I'll have students like my highest rated students are like around 1900.
dang.
I've had students in the past like 2200, but then
Wow.
they eventually move on to to perhaps be better than me. So, um,
Coach.
but yeah. Anyway, good luck in your tournaments this
Thank
weekend.
you. Yeah, I'm ready to fight.
And you just go ahead like after the tournament, you put all the games into that Lee chess study.
Oh yes, I do. I
So
try to analyze them too.
awesome, because I'll just go ahead and take a look at that and kind of keep track and see
Oh,
what's going on and see maybe what areas we can focus on.
oh sure. Yeah, you're the best. Yeah, I'll see you next week for sure.
All right, sounds good. My schedule is going to be a bit different next week, but I'll update my calendar link so you'll see when I'm available.
Okay, should I book it? Maybe not today, but like later.
Don't book it today. Yeah, by tomorrow or Sunday, I should have it updated.
Okay, I'll wait till Sunday or something.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
Oh, thanks, Eric. You're the
All right,
best.
my pleasure. Take care. Have a good day, Tam.
All right, you too.
Bye.